Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com, and welcome to Tuesday. I will tell you, it is hot here on the Front Range. You know what? I was smart enough to look at the weather, and I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to bring some jeans, but I'm probably going to be wearing my shorts because, you know, in Arizona, that's the dress code at the Phoenix office for me. I think I wear jeans almost never. Like maybe a couple of times a year when I'm down there in Arizona, but it is nice out. It's warm out. I was actually walking after the show yesterday, and I was actually doing business. So I get my my earbuds in, you know, because Virginia Farver, listen, she don't have that cell phone up to your ear. You don't want to get 5G'd, if you know what I'm saying. So I got the cell phone, not the wireless ones, not the Cyclops ones, you know, but you're plug it into your phone. And I'm out there, and I'm making my calls and doing all my stuff, and I'll tell you what, yeah, it's a little warm out there. But the good news is I'm not up here, I guess, this time of year, but it's pretty beautiful right now. Colorado is absolutely gorgeous right now, but I got bad news for you. The Dow breaking down. And again, not unexpected. Jason will be off this week. We'll have him back next week. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Joey join us again. Listen, I'm just telling you right now, I'll call it the summer of hopes and dreams of total nonsense. That somehow the Fed was going to be almost done cutting interest rate, or rate cutting. Look, I mean, already had about raising interest rates. They are going to go much higher. I've been saying it all along. You better be ready. I'm going to give out Joey's number. Listen, your 401ks are going to take a beating. Call him. Let him make sure you're at least allocated right. Listen, he doesn't make anything for it because it's your 401k with your work. But he's going to help you save a bunch of money. 602-909-9048. The Dow has broken below 32,000, down almost 300 points. The S&P's broken below 4,000, down over 40 points. The Nasdaq's broken down below 12,000, down 140 points. Gold's off a little bit. Crude oil's off. Crude oil's off all for all the wrong reasons, right? Because Wall Street's worried that recession is coming, which it is. Listen, Wall Street's not wrong about that. Recession is absolutely coming, but the realities are it's not going to come until interest rates are extremely. You know what? Don't be shocked to see interest rates triple where they are today. Double's a guarantee, and I only bring that up because technically, let's face it, technically we're already in recession. Technically. But you know how it is today. Right? Today, well, you know, that was old school thinking. It's different this time, right? It's always different. Oh, it is going to be different. That's the whole problem. It's going to be very, very different because this time when the house of cards comes down, everybody with money in the bank are going to be the ones that pay the price. I'll tell you what, we've got a great gold special today. I'm going to give it to you in the next segment. This is a fractional gold sale. I've been waiting for to get affordable, and it's going to be just that. But we had some economic data out. Home prices finally starting to weaken. I'm getting much more bearish on home prices. I think we are now, before I thought, listen, they're going to fall a little bit, not that much. I think they're going to fall a lot more because interest rates are going to be a lot higher than even I thought they were going to be, which means prices got to go a lot lower than that. Home weakness starting to appear. But we had a JOLTS number, a jobs number. This thing is not very accurate, but okay. Let's go with it. Well, they said all of a sudden, everybody's looking for more employees again, and that really got the markets upset because everything's supposed to be slowing down, isn't it? Best Buy today. Same store sales, second quarter sales down 13%. That's big in retail. When you get double-digit drops in retail, that's saying something. And Best Buy said, listen, there's been a dramatic change. And so I don't know. You know what? What do you believe? Right? Are there 11 million jobs out there? Or really is it like 4 million, but it's the same job posted over and over and over again? I don't know. But the realities are it started with Jackson Hole. All the Fed governors have been coming out today talking about how much higher interest rates are going to be, how much more work's going to be done on inflation that the Wall Street wasn't paying attention to. Well, apparently, Wall Street, you got Wall Street's attention now. Right? You got their attention now, and again, it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. It was absolute nonsense. And why I say nonsense, the Fed has never been able to create a soft landing. It's never happened. So why in the world would it happen now? Especially with a Fed that has been as clueless as the Fed led by Jay Powell. Patriot Radio News Hour. Get ready, because this is an opportunity I didn't think we would ever see again coming up next. Welcome back, Patriot Radio News Hour. We've got the sell-off picking up steam. And again, and I don't know why they thought this was somehow going to be solved. And again, can we all agree now that the fantasy that the Federal Reserve could control things by lowering or raising interest rates, that's fantasy. But can we all agree on that now? Right? They've built a house of cards. They've built the greatest Ponzi scheme ever. And the realities are is when you look at debts, and it's not, when we talk about national debt, when we talk about the Fed's balance sheet, and just so you know, look at the 10-year note, 315, the 2-year note, 350, and rising. And remember, we're not even into September yet. Wait for that to start happening, right? The bond market sell-off. I think we're going to get 75 basis points again. That'll put the Fed's funds rate at 3+. We're going to see much, much higher rates than anybody could possibly imagine. This is going to be brutal. Housing's already in a recession, and really, housing's on the precipice of depression. That's how fast the sales are falling. The retail sales, now I know it's Best Buy, but still, down 13%. And that was the second quarter. And let's face it, the first month and a half of the second quarter was probably pretty decent. Why do I get a feeling that this last month, maybe it fell closer to 20%? And again, I don't know. How about airlines? And I won't even go into my airline stories. But all of a sudden, and everybody, listen, if you've been flying lately, the planes have been packed. All of a sudden, and again, this is how it happens. Remember how I tell you. How do you go bankrupt? Well, it's gradual at first. Well, I'm just going to pay a little less on the credit card this month than a less. Well, now I'm going to make the minimum payment. Now all of a sudden, you know what? I'm paying it, but I'm paying it late. Then it's, well, you know what? I'm going to skip the phone bill this month, or I'm going to skip the water bill this month, or the trash bill, but I'll catch up down the road. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're behind on all your bills, and then the next day you wake up and you're bankrupt. And this is exactly what we're seeing play out. We saw it in housing. Now we're seeing it in retail, at least as far as Best Buy is saying. And then this morning, airline tickets. All of a sudden, the airlines are saying bookings just stopped. Listen to this. They're saying that net system sales, i.e., total bookings for airlines, took a sizable step back this week, down 23.6% in a week. I mean, that is huge. And when compared, that was compared to the same week in 2019. So the same week before COVID, okay, 2019, down 24%. Last week, down almost 10%, one of the largest drops in volume since they've been keeping track of this. And again, it is worth noting this will be another one of these, signs. Right? What are the signs? Well, this is a pretty good indicator. Right? Hey, all of a sudden, people aren't going on that flight. They're not making that trip. They're putting vacation plans on hold. At the same time, look at car payments. It's another one. They say the average American now taking on the highest loans ever when it comes to Experian. So Experian, one of the major, when your credit scores, right? They're saying monthly car payments have never been higher. The average loan amount for the second quarter 2022, listen to this, rose 13% in 1 year. And here's the problem. Wait till they do it for the third quarter. Because the Fed has already raised 0.75 of a point the last meeting. They're going to raise at least, I'm going to say another 0.75 of a point this meeting, which just means all of a sudden, hey, the people that were getting a new car in the second quarter, they were paying at least 1.5 points less in interest. But wait. That's right. The Fed is selling off their balance sheet. That means rates are even going to be even higher than that. So up 13% in the second quarter. Don't be shocked to see third quarter new vehicle. This is a year-over-year number that are going to be up over 20%, maybe even 25%. By the way, the average debt now, this is the balance. So this is after you've put the money down. $40,290. The average monthly payment went from $582 to $667. That's an increase of 14.6%. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people out there are wishing they had a $667 a month car payment. You know what's so funny? My parents' mortgage back in after the Volcker rate hikes came down during the end of Reaganomics, it was less than $667. That was their mortgage payment. Now we're talking about payments. These are car payments, used vehicle prices. It got worse. They were up 19%. The average price after down payment, $28,534. That would be more than the median price of a home in 1971. Matter of fact, for that $28,000, you could have got a home and a new car, not a Corvette. You couldn't have got a Corvette. You needed about another $1,000, and you could have had a new home and a new Corvette in 1971 for that $28,000. The average used car payment now over $500 a month. Experian also said consumers were shifting back to used vehicles. That's another sign, right? Look at the signs, right? All of a sudden, hey, man, I'd love that new Jeep. It's a nice looking ride. Wait, you want how much? Wait a minute, you know it's a Jeep, right? Well, I guess I'm going to have to buy a used one. So, again, all of these things happening all at the same time, and now all of a sudden you can understand why it is that the central bank is like, hey, we got a lot higher to go to cool off these prices. And again, I don't know how this is all going to shake out. Right, as we watch a Fed that already had zero credibility. Right? How long did they tell us inflation was transitory? And then, okay, maybe we shouldn't have used that word, but it's still not that bad. Now, fast forward to this week, and every Fed governor out there is talking about how much more work they've got to do to fight inflation, and yet somehow you think there's going to be a soft. And here's the funny part. So many people are sitting on their hands thinking that this is going to work out. They've got no chance. Like I said, the only reason inflation came down a little bit is because for the first time in 30 years, there wasn't a hurricane ripping through the Gulf of Mexico in the month of August. Listen, let's everybody pray, and I mean this. We all need to pray for no hurricanes this year. I don't know if that's possible, but let's pray for that, because I don't want to see what will happen if we get one of those whoppers in the wrong spot. But these are the things. This is what's happening right now. So what do we believe? Do we believe there's 11 million jobs? Let's just say, for instance, that's reality, because that's what they reported. That's actually, think about this. That's bad. What? What do you mean? Companies want to hire is bad? Yeah. That means what? That means rates are going higher for longer. And again, I don't think people have figured it out, but I do know this. All of a sudden, the Wall Street rally taking a much different tune, breaking back down. So we're probably looking at the lows coming up, and I think we're going to go lower than that in the second half. A lot of these experts were, oh no, Wall Street's going to rally at the end of the. I don't think so. Can't rally when the Fed is out there talking about rate hikes. And again, think about this: the average credit card payment, right near all-time record highs. And this is after people's credit cards, people's credit card balances up until about 6 months ago were super low because the government gave us a bunch of money, right? A lot of people did, hey, don't pay your student debt. They paid off their credit cards. Credit card debt's almost $1 trillion again. Almost $1 trillion again. Student loan debt's $1.8 trillion, almost $2 trillion. Think about that. Student loan debt's twice as much as credit card debt. Auto loan debt, it's like $1.4, $1.5 trillion. Every time the Fed raises rates, the minimum payment on the credit card jumps. So you could be sitting there going, wait a minute. I've had let's just say $5,000 balance. I can't get it any lower, but I'm keeping it at $5,000. Everybody out there knows what I'm talking about. For those of you that carry credit card debt, you're like, hey, the minimum payment I had to make in January to stay at $5,000, it's double. And get ready, it's going to be triple what it was costing you just back in January. If you were paying $200 a month before the end of the year, you're going to be paying $600 a month just to stay in place. You can see it in the vehicle prices, those payments. Hey, even if car prices stop going up, still going to cost you more. We talk about it in housing. How much does housing prices need to fall to keep the payments the same? And that's the problem. The payments are exceeding the prices, the price drops. And again, when you look at all the data out there, the only thing that came down was gas. Energy prices aren't down. Yep, we're paying a little bit less at the pump, But that's really about it. Food prices aren't down. Car prices aren't down. Minimum payments aren't down, right? All of these things are continuing to go higher and higher and higher. And now they're saying job openings jump back up to 11 million. Well, I don't know. You decide what's going to happen. The sale of the year in fractional gold is coming up. And I'll try to squeeze it in here. It's on $5 Liberties. These are the old ones, the 1866 to 1907. These are quarter-ounce pieces. I've got 120 of them, that never happens on fractional gold lately. I got 120 of them, $550. That's $25 off, and I really thought $575 would be the lowest we'd see. $550 today. Get them put away. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. Just really quickly, we talked Libya and Iraq yesterday. Both situations have not improved. Matter of fact, the Iraqi situation may have gotten worse. Remember al-Sadr? He's back again, claiming that he's done with the political parties in Iraq. They've been extremely violent fighting in Iraq, but oil's down today because the Iraqi oil minister said, no, don't worry, we're still pumping. For now, you are. By the way, I didn't realize how much oil Iraq was pumping. This is a big one. Almost 3.4 million barrels a day is coming out of Iraq. So anything there is going to be highly watched. In Libya, extreme violence now in Tripoli, civil war. And Libya's been on the brink of civil war off and on. They just had a really good month where they got to almost 1 million barrels a day, up from about 700,000. But that always fluctuates as the war fluctuates there. So something to keep our eye on the oil markets. Let's hope the Iraqi oil minister is right, because as long as the oil keeps pumping, I don't think anything else really matters, at least when it comes to Iraq. But then on the gold sale, listen, these $5 Liberties, I don't even know the last time. It had been years. I had the girls at the office. I go back through the computer. Let's find, when's the last time a $5 Liberty was $5.70? And they were all already back to, $5.50. Sorry, because they're $5.50 today. They were already back to 2019 and couldn't find it. So this is the cheapest price in at least 3 years, probably 4 years. It's a limited deal. The supplier reached out to me today and said, listen, I've got an opportunity here on a mass buy. Do you want it? And I said, let's do it. Saving $25. You're saving $100 an ounce when you buy 4 of these things today. They're $550. And why I like the $5 Liberty right now. Remember what Europe said last week. And remember what Jay Powell said at Jackson Hole. Dow was down 1,000 points. Now it's down, another almost 600 points between yesterday and today, on top of the 1,000. But remember what the ECB said. Yeah, digital is a certainty. Matter of fact, we have to have it to keep the current monetary system. And what they meant by that was to keep ourselves in power, that central bank power, because they want you to believe that this country's prosperity is all because of them. And here's the realities. The United States went over 100 years without a central bank. We became a superpower without the central bank. We were the largest exporter of goods in the world without a central bank. And now, you know what we lead the world in? You know, we're the worldwide leader. Debt. And they line their pockets. They give out fancy words like securitization and try to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Want to give you the illusion, don't worry. You know what happened the last time, that the financial crisis? Oh, no, we fixed that. Oh, they did? Huh. Okay, well, let's look at it. What causes a financial crisis? Well, too much debt and people's inability to pay for the debt. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that we've got less debt. Obviously, right? Because that would make it safer, right? Oh, no. Actually, we've increased the debt. We went from 10 trillion to 40 trillion. Oh, wait a minute. You quadrupled the amount of debt? So let me get this right. You quadrupled it while making interest rates zero for the whole time. Now you're coming out and saying, oh, by the way, interest rates are going to go so much higher than anybody could possibly imagine. How are people going to afford these payments on this now $40 trillion? And, of course, we know if they're saying 40, that means the securitization on banks' balance sheets. Right? JP Morgan, think about JP Morgan. One bank alone has 60 trillion in securitized. I got my by the way, you can't see me, but I'm using my fingers by air quotes on the radio. They've got 60 trillion all by themselves. Do you know that right now they're estimating inflation in Great Britain's going to be 22%? Right? We got freaked out at 9. 22. Britons, by record numbers, can't pay their energy bills. Pubs, Britain, think about the UK in general, Britain and Ireland and Scotland. Can you imagine if all the pubs had to shut down because they can't afford the power? Yeah, that'd be dangerous. And again, wake up. You know what's coming. I know you know. Listen, I've been here 20 years doing this. I've been telling you what's going to happen the whole way through. We're getting ready for a great reset. Physical money is going to be a thing of the past, period. By the way, I've already warned you about your bank accounts. I'm going to give you another warning. Don't have too much cash outside the bank either. You don't want to be that guy when they say all cash needs to be turned in. I'm not going to give a date. Believe me, they're going to give a date. All cash needs to be turned in by July 1st, 2025. I don't know. I'm just arbitrarily making up a number. Don't be that guy that walks in there with 50,000, 100,000, heaven forbid more than that. Because I promise you'll be like, well, let me get my manager. By the way, the managers, I've been appointed as a representative of the IRS for this certain transaction. Step over here. We'd like to talk to you for just a minute. Patriot Radio News Hour, $5 Liberties, $5.50 at 800-951-0592. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. I don't know how many $5 libs are left because I'm not in the Phoenix office. I'm up here on the Front Range. But call and get them put away. This is a ridiculous opportunity. $550 for fractional gold. This reset. These things are going to be, they're going to be worth that gold. Because with a digital currency, we already know what's going to happen. They're going to, between ESG scores, they're going to tell you what you can buy, what you can't buy. They're going to create black markets. You're going to want to have these. And let me tell you, inflation's not going anywhere. Yeah, don't be fooled. Yeah, gas fell $1. Big deal. Inflation is not going anywhere. Why? Because they took the money supply and increased it by like 500%. That's why. That's what inflation is. See, that's the thing. This is a misnomer. People think inflation is the rise in price. No, that's a symptom of the inflation. The actual inflation is the endless printing of money out of thin air. And that's what they did. And they did it at a level so unprecedented. It even blows my mind away. And we learned through the Freedom of Information Act how deceitful the bankers really are. Because they wanted to hide it from us. As a matter of fact, they went all the way to the Supreme Court and held how much money they created out of thin air to save these banks the last time around. And got it delayed. We couldn't find out for 12 years afterwards. By the way, do you want to know what that number was? Because I'll tell you. Very, very similar to the exact amount of deposits currently held in U.S. banks. Yeah, about $19 trillion is what's held in deposits. The Fed privately bailed out Wall Street banks to the tune of about $17 trillion last time. And like I said, remember, the debt's 4 times bigger than it was back then. And I started telling you, I've already been warning you, do not have a lot of money in the bank. Have what you need in there. Don't have more than what you need. If nothing else, I beg, I implore you, you need to be under $250,000 per bank. And that means all your accounts. Not per account, all your accounts. You got 3 or 4 accounts at JP Morgan or B of A or US Bank or Wells Fargo. You got to add them all together and be under 250. If that means you got to have bank accounts in 3 or 4 different banks, so be it. Anything over 250 is gone. The problem is, well, I got 250. Matter of fact, I keep it right there. But I've had 250 in this bank for 5 years. 10 years. I promise you this, you're not getting your 250. Right? The IRS, there's a reason they got 87,000 more of them. They're just going to come in and say, Mr. Smuckatelli, you obviously don't need this money. I mean, you've had it here for how long? You got to remember, central bankers and bankers in general don't like that. Matter of fact, have money in the bank. I don't care. Have $500, $1,000, $10,000. But don't do anything. You don't write a check. You don't do it. Just sits there. Month after month after month. Wait till you see how fast the bank starts calling you saying, we're going to start charging you fees. Unless you either start doing stuff that we can charge you fees for, or we're just going to charge you fees for having your money just sitting in our bank. They think that's evil to them. They tell you to save money, but they really don't mean it. What they want you to do is risk your money and pretend you're saving it. And then cash. I mean, all of us got cash at home. We got our emergency money because that's what we do. We understand. I want the ability, if they shut off my bank, i.e. Greece, and I got money that I can do things with. when this reset comes and that digital currency comes, the ECB said it perfectly. Cash is no longer fit for the digital age. It's no longer fit because you know what? Cash does nothing for us. Well, who's us? The bankers. Doesn't do them anything. They hate that. They want you to spend that money. How dare you? How dare you? So the audacity you have of having cash in your safe at your house. How dare you? You're supposed to be spending that money. I promise you this. There's going to be an expiration date. And you show up at that bank with more than whatever, and let's just say 10 grand's the number. And I don't know, it could be $500. I don't know. Step over here. How did you get that 10 grand? Well, what do you mean, how did I get it? I got it. Saved it up over time. Really? Can you prove that to us? Because if not, well, looks like that may be money laundering. We may just have to seize that. What the IRS will get back to you and let you know how much of that 10 grand you get to keep. You think I'm kidding? Remember, they bailed them out by $17 trillion, and now they're bail-ins. They need every dollar we got. 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. U.S. $5 Liberties. These are the old ones. You know why old gold's the best. It's private. You can buy it, sell it, trade it. Don't have to worry about Social Security numbers and 1099s, little things like that. Remember when they confiscated gold the last time? Oh, yeah. There was only one kind of gold you could keep. What kind? Oh, that was right, collectible. What's the only thing the United States now considers to be collectible gold? There's only one. Pre-1933 United States gold. $550. This is, these were $625 8 weeks ago. So take advantage of it. 800-951-0592. And just to finish on this reset, the gauntlet has been thrown. This debt was never meant to be paid. Listen. Who was it? One of the head of the IMF or somebody wrote the death of cash and was talking about, listen, every fiat currency ever has always gone to zero. And guess what? The euro, the yen, the Federal Reserve note, it's all on the clock. We're on the clock. So just be careful. Because believe you me, you better be able to prove how you got that money or they are going to take it. That's worst case. They're just going to take it, for asset forfeiture, right? What they've been doing everywhere. Or, well, you know what? That's going to be income this year and you're going to have to pay tax on it. And by the way, the cash tax is double what the normal tax would be. So you better have statements where you see, every time I get my paycheck, I go to the bank and I took out $100 in cash and I put it in my safe and I can prove it. I did that for 10 years. If you can't prove it, you're going to have just a warning. Do with it as you wish. I've already told you. Don't have large amounts of cash in the bank, especially if you have had large amounts of cash in the bank for a very long time. Never, ever, ever have more than $250,000 in any one bank. And now the last warning. Don't have too much of that emergency cash sitting at your house because you're going to have to explain to the IRS how you got it. 800-951-0592. Gold's down 10. Oil's down 5.5. That's kind of funny. The Dow's down almost 300 points. The S&P's down another 40 points. The Nasdaq's down 130 points. They've all broken back below here. Not a good day. I think this is exactly what the central bank wants to see. The central bank needs to get Wall Street to stop investing. That's what they need. They need a crash here. That's the only way to get this thing under control. I've been telling you about the size of the demand destruction that's truly going to be needed to counteract all the money they've created out of thin air, all the secret bailouts, all that stuff. It's all coming home to roost. I hope you're prepared. God bless everybody.